point. Go ahead.
Just your thoughts on your senior class going into the last game in Mackey Arena.
Well, obviously, with the position they've put themselves into in terms of trying to be undefeated at home, having the best record, in the Big Ten, as a class, have the best record as a Purdue class. I mean, they put themselves in such a great position, and so you want to do everything that you can to help them finish on a positive note. But obviously, it's going to be hard, going against Wisconsin, and they're always a tough cover. But just proud of them. It's what it's all about. Like, there's a lot of adversity there, and to be able to fight through, but a lot more success than failure, and they've all sacrificed in their own way, to help us win a lot of games.
Everybody's going to obviously talk about Zach, Mason, Lance, and Ethan, but just the job Carson and Chase have done for your program.
Right. Well, they both improved. Like, they're not just people that get into practice and help us in practice. They've worked on their game and they've gotten better. Their improvements hasn't gotten them on the floor, but their improvements has really helped enhance our team, just because how competitive they've been. When they're the scout team, they lead our scout team, and they have the ball in their hands a lot. But both of those guys have done great things for our program.
Zach's meant so much to this program, but I think that he's a people person, and I see him out there hours after the game signing autographs and stuff like that. And just how rare is it to get a superstar that's as willing to do the media, the fanfare stuff that he doesn't ever tell anybody no, it seems like.
Yeah, no, it's great. You're just it's hard because, like, no matter what you do, I always say this about coaching, like, no matter what you do, somebody's upset. You know what I mean? Like, when people start to really pick at you how you win and you're 27-3, like, it's like, gee, man, like, get a hobby. Like, I mean, but for someone who's a great player, especially someone of his size, he takes a lot. Like, people don't realize, like, these guys read everything, good, bad, or indifferent. So, like, he takes a lot of that in. It's like other night when they yelled that at the, national anthem. I was like, man, we just got 4 or 5 points right there. Like, we just got better, because that fires him up, that gets him going. But I think he just appreciates, the Purdue people for their support. He appreciates, how he's been treated. I think, for the most part, nothing's ever 100%, but for the most part, I think, Purdue people have been great to him, and he just wants to show them that, he respects that, he appreciates that, and stays out there and signs for as long as he has to.
I know you got more out of him than you probably ever imagined, but he's earned everything that he's received, right?
Yes, he has. Like, for everything that he's done, if you look at his numbers and his success, it's David Robinson, Shaquille O'Neal, Ralph Sampson, Bill Walton, just some of the accomplishments that he's had. He's in that air, which is crazy, right? But there are some big time names there. But no, he's worked very hard. He's gotten better every year. And I think that's something that you want, and you want to be able to say that you have individuals in your program that get better every year, because that's what it's about. It's about developing and improving.
How do you help your players manage the emotional aspect of a senior day and still continue to play within like a...
Don't have it before the game. It's the dumbest thing in the world. People do that. Like, don't let people get their emotions raised, good, bad, or indifferent before the game. Just treat it like any other game. Then after it's over with, treat it like senior night. So, like, I think that's important for us to just kind of keep that in perspective. They did that before I first got here, and I was like, man, like, why let that emotion get into play right there? Because everybody's going to have that. Everybody's going to feel like, oh man, it's my last game. Like, don't talk about it at all. Talk about Wisconsin. Talk about winning. Talk about doing the same things, because you stay, within your habits that way. You stay within your routine, and now afterwards you can reflect on it when it's over. I think that's the best way to go about it.
How hard is recruiting this season? You've been in high school games recently, and so how hard is it to balance? And then, has it gotten harder recently?
Yeah, no, I've always went out. I like watching them during the season. We don't have a big class the next year, so I didn't go out as much. The year before, I went out a lot, but I like to go out and see things for myself. I don't like being on the phone. I'm not a big phone guy, and I but I think anybody can walk into a gym and see 100 kids play, but when you travel and you go places just to see one person, I think that really resonates with young people that, hey man, like, he really wants me and the head coach wants me and things of that nature. So that's what I always try to do. But there is a balance to it. You can get pretty tired. Like everybody's pretty tired at this point in the season. Every coach is tired out there. But if you don't keep the perspective of your future, man, you're not going to like it. A little different now with the landscape, because some people are not recruiting at all and they're just waiting for the portal. And I'm on the other end of the spectrum, so I want to keep doing what we've been doing. Unless something ends up changing, you always got to be able to adapt and adjust to what's best for your program.
At this point in the season, how do you guys get better from now to the start of the tournament?
You just try to clean up, some of your mistakes. We made mistakes the other night, like when we had sloppy traps at times, and when we had good traps. Our attention to detail on some of our wall ups and some of our vertical jumps wasn't very good. We smacked down at the end, and then you don't think it's a foul during the game, then you see it and you see why they called it, and so today was. When I did my practice plan, there's 2 to 3 things that have nothing to do with Wisconsin, just has to do with basketball and some of the slippage we had in the game. So you try to correct that slippage and watch film, and it's more cerebral than anything. It's more watching film, communicating, and talking about it, but just being better at what we do.
So we've kind of glanced over the game here, but if you could tell us about Wisconsin and what you expect from them and what's, from the last time, what you can do better, things like that.
Yeah, when you're playing an opponent, especially one like Wisconsin, who has great tradition and a great coach and great system, and it's proven. What they do is proven to be successful. You got to think you're going to get their best from each individual guy, and that's how you got to prepare. From the way they move the basketball to their shooting, to the guys that post, to the their ISOs, just everything that they do. They have a great system. So that's what we have to be able to do. We have to have that focus and understand that we're going to get their best, and we got to be ready to defend them, and we got to be ready to execute on the offensive end.
Wall still the hot button matchup.
What's that?
Is Wall still the hot button matchup there?
I think they're all hot button matchups. I think they're all good. I don't, the guys that come off their bench they're good, and so we have to be prepared, because at the end of the day, that's normally who gets you, right? Someone you're not quite prepared for, you give too much attention somewhere else. Everybody they start, everybody they bring in, whether that's Blackwell, whether that's a season, whether that's winter. I'm missing a couple guys there, but you have to be prepared. They're very skilled. They understand how to play, and you just can't simply let them do whatever they want to do.
Zach developed as a defender, where last year I think he would give up an open layup if he had 2 fouls. This year I think teams try to challenge him in those situations, but he's going to be aggressive and make you take a tough shot. So.
Right. Yeah. It's both avenues make sense, because that third foul versus 2 points, I'd rather them have 2 points, and keep him in the game, and but also being smart. Other night we went back with him, for that last possession, and just had to tell him hey, if you miss a shot, don't go over somebody's back for a rebound. Don't get that third one here. Be smart about it. Don't worry about it. It's not that important. You just got to have the discipline. I thought he had great discipline of staying down the other night. I don't think he did a great job of that against Wisconsin the first time. I thought he was kind of all over the map. You can't contest everything. You got to, when you have that kind of size, you got to be able to wall them up, no pun intended, and not let them get angles, and then kind of be that second jumper. And then sometimes if you don't feel comfortable being the second jumper, then don't jump at all and make him make that shot, which he did. He made some really tough shots at Wisconsin, but we also, we didn't have great body balance a couple times defensively.